I get asked a lot of questions, and I understand why. Because the sports card industry can be incredibly overwhelming, it can be complex, and it can be complicated. People are always asking me, who the hell should I be buying into? Do I buy into this player? What card should I be looking at? How do I sell my cards? Do I use this platform? Do I use this platform? What prices should I be buying in at? What prices should I be selling at? When should I sell them? Like, there's so many different variables going on that I understand why people feel that way. This video is going to show you how I solve that for myself so that I can feel more comfortable, so that I can feel more confident, and I can feel more at ease when it comes to my buying decisions, my selling decisions. Essentially, I'm going to give you guys a live walkthrough of the entire process that I go through as an operator when it comes to looking if I'm going to buy into a player's market or not. And what's really cool, this is a player that I'm getting asked about multiple times a day right now. Let's dive in. So as you can see here, there's 5 different aspects that I think about when I make my buying decisions. I think about the player market data. I think about the player narrative and also the team narrative that's pushing them. I think about what exit catalysts are going to be coming up that I could sell into, and they're going to cause demand and price to increase. I think about the actual sales system that I'm going to use. Okay, this is the one that so many people don't even think about, but it is the most pivotal piece of sports cards, because the cards that we have no value until somebody buys them from us. And then I'll show you the overall operator decision-making framework, the questions that I ask myself, the boxes that need to be ticked in order for me to say, yes, I'm buying in, and this is why, so that I can feel comfortable with my decision. And if it doesn't work out, then I can look at it and be like, how was I wrong about this, so that I don't make the same mistake again. Okay, so quick pre-phrase before we dive in. There is a lot that's going on with this player because they're a rookie. They only have like less than 40 games in the MLB. When we're looking at players with more established markets and more time in the NBA or the MLB, we don't need to do as much because we already have a thorough understanding of their market and what's going to cause it to increase, where here there's more unknown questions, so we need to do a little bit more investigating and a little bit more thinking. The player that we're talking about, as you can see here, they've played 37 games at the time of recording this video, 123 at-bats in that time, 14 home runs, 36 RBIs, and they're batting .293 with a .385 at OBP, a .707 slugging, and a 1.092 OPS. And of course, the player that we are talking about is esmerlyn, the Merlin Valdez, Pittsburgh Pirates outfielder, rookie sensation that has come onto the scene, and his power bat and his performance is taking the league by storm. He had another home run today against the Cubbies in order to get the Pirates an 8-7 win. And if you look at the main media sites, if you look at social media, he is a dominant force at the moment because, small sample size, he is performing tremendously well. So people want to pick up that narrative because it's going to get attention for them. So I'm getting asked about him a lot right now. And this is the thinking that I go through, the thinking that I went through for myself in order to decide, am I going to buy into esmerlyn Valdez's rookie card market for Rookie Heat AU, because it's going to help us serve the business goals. Let's walk through it every step, starting with the player market data. So there's 2 main tools that I love to use here: Card Ladder for looking for sold listings, and eBay looking for current listings that haven't yet sold. I stick to those 2 because I find that they are the most universal, and what people who are looking to buy from me or people who are looking to sell to me, they use Card Ladder and eBay sales, and personally they give me a great grip and understanding on the market. There's other tools out there that people like to use. If they work for you, go and use them. This is simply the way that I simplify my stack so that I can have conversations with people because they're familiar with these as well. So what I went and did is I went to Card Ladder and I had a look at 3 different cards so that I could start to see what is the trend and the trajectory for esmerlyn's market. And as we can see here on all 3, it is running. So this Bowman out of 250, purple refractor, 27 days ago it was $11. It just sold at auction for close to 30. So there's been a 3x increase on this specific card. And what is really interesting and I really love is that this latest sale, which happened today, was at an auction. So we can be quite certain that that's accurate. Some of the things with best offers and buy it now sales is that there are people out there who have second accounts. They buy their own cards at a more expensive price to drive the comp up. So buy it nows, I always have a little bit of and a little bit of hesitation when I see them, but auctions, yeah, auctions you can't go wrong. So we look at the 250, we go to 250 is up a factor of 3. We look at this Bowman Chrome first, blue refractory out of 150 auto. A week ago it was 634. Today it was 852. So it's up a little over $200. And when we look at this 2026 Bowman, red refractory out of 5. There's only the one sale at 490, but there's these 3 of the out of 5. It's just the red geometric or the red reptilian. It's gone from 71 6 weeks ago. Well, actually, sorry, 8 weeks ago to 185. So it has run as well. So when I look at the player market, I go, oh, it's running. So we're on the way up and we're at the current top. So that's the first thing that I think about. One of the things that I love about Card Ladder is that you can come across to it and you can use this player section. So when I look for Esmerlyn Valdez, because he's so new, he's not going to come up. So we can't see this same data that we're looking at here for Judge, but for other players we can. What it shows us is, if I start here at all time, we have the index data, and this is showing us the increase in his value from when his first cards were released. So they always start at a value of 1,000, and then we look at, has the market value gone up, has the market value come down? We can see here for Judge that over that time, he's up, almost 16,500%. But then we can look and we can say, because of the injury right now, he's down. So if we don't think it's going to continue to go further down, this is actually a really good time to buy into Judge cards for a long-term hold. But we can use this just to look at that index data because it gives a nice representation of market value. And then we can also look at sales volume down here. So the sales volume, we can change both of these actually to different time periods. So you can see that over the last month, Judge's index is down and his volume fluctuates. Something happened on the 28th of June that caused $500,000 to flood into his market. But you can see that it's pretty low, a couple of thousand a day with the odd spike. So healthy volume going through Judge's market. If Valdez has one, I'd be doing this as well for it. Okay. Once I've looked at those, some accessory things that I like to look into are what are their jersey sales and what are their shoe sales like, because this gives us a really good beat on the culture fit. For someone like Ja Morant, whose market has cooled tremendously but just got traded to Portland, his signature shoes continue to be some of the best sellers. And that's a signal that he is still intertwined in basketball culture. Because if people had cancelled him after what happened on the court and off the court, Nike wouldn't have continued to run his shoes, but they have. And I'm pretty sure the Jar 5 is about to drop. So that's why I look at things like this, because it can be a really interesting signal of, oh, this player's jerseys are in like the top 5 sellers, but their card market doesn't do much. Why is that? What's happening and what's the dissociation between the two? And is there a gap here? Is there an arbitrage play? Sometimes there is, sometimes there isn't. We then also look at what's happening in baseball and basketball fantasy. I'm not in baseball fantasy, but I'd be looking at how many people are talking about Esmerlyn Valdez and why. Because oftentimes the fantasy and the card markets are connected and intertwined. And then of course, we look at the main leading media channels like ESPN, MLB.com, NBA.com, and we'll also look at social media channels from non-mainstream, so these are more individuals, to see what is being shared about them, what are those people saying, and how much of it is there. Because the more media attention there is, the more eyeballs there are on that player, the more that demand and value can increase. So they're the things that I'm looking at. Right now, I look at Card Ladder and I go, oh, as I said, market's run, it's at the current top. Nothing really here for this player, and we know that he's showing up a heck of a lot, mainstream media and other socials too. So that's the market data that I get, and I start to think, okay, have I missed the boat here? That's what I'm beginning to think after seeing this data. We then look at the player narrative. So questions that I ask, what is their current market sentiment right now? So what are people saying about them? Is it justified? Or is it hyped? What's the team narrative like right now? is it justified? So when I start to look at the player narrative, I go, for Esmerlyn, first Pirates rookie since the great Andrew McCutcheon, with double-digit extra base hits and 15 or more RBIs in his first 20 games. So he has essentially made history for this Pirates organisation. That's a big thing. When I think about the market sentiment, people are loving him. That's why his prices have gone up, and that's why he's in the media everywhere, because he is performing and playing very well right now. The question that I have, the little bit of hesitation that I have, is when I look at these stats, 123 at-bats, 54 strikeouts. So it's like 45% of the time he's striking out. So the power is there, but the strikeout risk is there as well. So then I'm thinking about what is the potential that his on-field performance and at the plate performance is going to continue, because that's one thing that's going to continue to drive his market up. I'm a little bit worried because of this strikeout rate. Walk rate, what's that, about 1 in 6? So 1 in 6 he walks. I'm going to say 2 in 6 he strikes out, maybe even 3. It's close to 3 in 6 he strikes out. So let's say 4 out of 6 times he either walks or he strikes out, which means 2 out of 6 times, a third of the time, he's going to get on base somehow. Then I'm looking at the individual player narrative. He has shot up in the National League Rookie of the Year favourites. He's currently sitting third, which is really nice. But then I'm looking at, okay, what are the chances of him getting second or first? The two players in front of him have a much larger sample size. They've played the entire seasons, and they've played incredibly well. Sal Stewart is, doing wonderful things in Cincinnati, breaking records. JJ Weatherholt had an all-star push. The narrative around both of them is very, very strong. So do I feel like Esmerlyn is going to jump them? Likely not, unless he hits 35 plus home runs as a rookie from here on out. And then I'm looking at the team narrative. Pittsburgh are a little over 500. National League Central is very competitive. 12.5 games behind the Brewers. When we look at the wild card, they're only 1 game out of a wild card spot, but there's 5 other teams that are within 2. The Marlins have lost 12 in a row somehow. That's likely going to turn around, so they're going to jump back up. The Nationals are playing really good baseball with CJ Abrams, James Wood, and then the other young stars there. The Cardinals, we're in the mix with JJ, with Jordan Walker, with Mason Witt. And the Padres, they've got star talent, so they might also jump up. So we're looking at all of that, because that brings us to our next conversation of the exit catalyst. This Rookie of the Year and this postseason are 2 of the 3 big drivers for what I'd be looking to happen in order to exit his market. Okay? What future events are happening that will increase demand and value for this player? It's going to be that he wins the National League Rookie of the Year. As we just discussed, he's in with a good shot, but the 2 players above him, they need to cool off tremendously, like just fall flat off the face of the earth. Production go to absolute hell in order for him to jump them. So that's likely not going to happen. So we're not going to have a National League Rookie of the Year announcement that we can sell into. Then I'm looking at a Pirates postseason appearance and potentially a deep run. 1 game behind in the wild card right now, so them making the postseason, it's likely. Making a deep run though, Ashcraft would need to pitch tremendously well. Skeens would need to pitch tremendously well. They need to continue hitting with Brian Reynolds and both the Gonzalez boys and Esmerlyn. It's O'Hearn. O'Hearn needs to hit too. Henry Davis needs to hit, but the competition that they're up against with the Cubs are there, the Phillies are there, the Cardinals are there, the Nats are there. There's so much going on that I go, okay, do I think that that's likely happening? Personally, no. So therefore, the only thing that continues to increase demand and value for Esmerlyn Valdez's market is that he continues his hot performance at the plate. That could happen. And if it does, fantastic. But is it a reason for me to buy into his market, knowing that the other 2 exit catalysts are potentially not going to happen? That's where I start to go, okay, I'm hesitant, especially laid on top of the fact that his market has run so much, which we looked at in the market data. Okay, so this is me starting to form my thesis of what I should do. The sales system is the final nail in the coffin for me personally when it comes to Esmerlyn right now. So the sales system is where I look at who would I sell this to. Okay, that should say who. Why would they buy it? What's their reason for buying it? Where am I selling it? Online, offline, what fees are involved? And most importantly, what price range do I need to be in for solid profit margins? So when I think about this, two different types of people that I could sell it to. A Pittsburgh collector, okay? He's having one of the best rookie seasons that anyone's had, and he can potentially be a standout player for them. So they might want to buy in and have that little piece of history. But 9 times out of 10, when you deal with collectors, they say it's for the PC. I'm not looking to resell this on, so can you give me a better price? Fully understand that. It's just a trade-off, and it's something that we need to think about might happen should we sell to a collector. The other alternative is a flipper or another card business. When we deal with these guys, because it's a business or because it's a flipper, they're looking to resell it for profit. So they're going to come in below comps unless it's a strong buyer who has mass conviction that them buying into esmerlyn valdez is going to work out for them. So they might have some secret intel or something, or they might just be going on a whim, but they're going to want to get it for around 80% comps, because for some reason that's just the industry standard right now, because they will say other people are going to want this at comps, that's where I'm going to have to sell it, I need some margin and fees involved, so I need to be at 80%. And that's where it's like, it needs to be a win for you and also a win for me. So I'm thinking about those and being like, okay, this sale might not be the simplest or the easiest sale, even though there's so much hype and attention around esmerlyn right now. Then I look at where I'd sell it. So if I sell it online, on eBay, on whatnot, on collects, I need to take the fees into account because they're going to eat into profit margin. If I list it as an auction, it has the risk of going below comps. That's outside of my control. Someone might try and snag it, snipe it, and get a great deal on it. There might not be that much demand around it, but a bidding war, strikes out. And if I list it as a bin, as a buyer now, it could go where I'd like it to, but often we're going to get lowball offers and the card's going to sit unless one of these people with mass conviction just magically comes along. If I sell it privately, yes, there's no fees involved, but I need a distribution channel or a network in order to get attention and eyeballs on the card. So if I don't have a massive social following, that's going to be very hard to do. And if I don't have an established network of people who buy from me and who I buy from, well, those relationships aren't there, so it's going to be quite hard to move privately. Okay, for myself, if I were buying in, I would be looking to go privately, but then I think about how many people do I know in the MLB space that would be interested in a card like this at this sort of price point. It shrinks my buyer pool even more, so I go, it would actually be quite hard for me to move compared to other players I could buy into and move quite quick. And now we get to the big one, solid profit margin range. I always use 20%. That's the standard that I achieve to hold and aim for. Not every card gets there, but it's the one that I look at. And this is where I have the final nail in the coffin for myself, because the red refractor that we looked at that's at $4.91, I'd need to sell it at $5.90 to make my 20% profit margins, which means I'd need to be around $4.40 in order to make 10%. Blue refractor auto, which is sitting at $8.50, I need to sell it for over $1,000. The purple out of 25 that we looked at, I need to sell for 36. So that's the one where I go, yeah, I could probably sell that for more than $6 the comp if the performance continues to go up and the demand continues to stay there. But again, those things are a lot of ifs. I don't have massive conviction around that happening. And I definitely don't have conviction around these things happening. And it's where I ask myself, would I be okay with not buying in and those happening? Yes, I would be very okay with that, because the likelihood of the prices getting to these levels, yeah, I personally don't see it happening in this cycle right now. So now when I go through my operator decision-making framework, I look at, does the data suggest I can hit my profit margins? It does suggest it, but I don't feel confident at it at all. So do I feel confident that it can? No. So I look at it and I go, if I have 10 different options of players that I can buy into, esmerlyn valdez is one of them, he's going to be one of the higher risk plays, and only if I can't buy into other players, but there's an abundance of other player markets that we can buy into, so I'd be looking to invest my time, my energy, and the business's finances there, because my overall verdict, as I have written here, is that yes, there's a real market here, but it's already running, as we saw from those 3 card prices that we looked at, and it's run a lot. One of the exit catalysts is National League Rookie of the Year, but JJ Weatherholt, Sal Stewart are the favourites. One of them is going to win it unless something absurd happens. So that exit catalyst is off the table. when we look at the team narrative, the team catalyst, Pirates are one game back in the wild card, so that could push him. There may be a wild card opportunity where he steps up big and bang, that pushes it. There then may be postseason opportunities where he steps up big and again, that pushes his market. But they're two games of what if that I personally don't feel comfortable playing because of how much his market has run already. If his market hadn't run yet and we were still sitting around those $10 figures, those $300 figures, okay, different story. But because it's run, I don't feel comfortable with those two exit catalysts potentially taken off the table, which means that the risk is that we're playing a game where his hot bat needs to stay that way because that's the only leg that we can stand on right now. And this is the other big thing. People will only buy Esmerlyn Valdez cards off me if his scorching bat stays hot, because Rookie of the Year's gone, Pirates in the postseason may not be there. So that's the only rung that we're hanging our hat on, and personally I don't feel comfortable in only having one line attached where we could have three. Okay? So right now, because it's a very small sample size of like 38 games, this feels like an emotion play, a hype play, a FOMO play, more than a logical one. So yeah, he's going to be a watch for the off-season. But even then, when I think about the off-season, I think about what needs to happen next season in order for his market to get back to this level where he's going to have to outperform what he's currently already done. And he started off really hot. So what's the likelihood of that happening? He's going to be in his second season, so he's going to be ineligible for Rookie of the Year, which means that the real exit catalyst is going to be an all-star appearance. What's the likelihood of him being an all-star? Yeah, you've got to weigh that risk up. And then we're looking at, okay, well, if they don't happen, it's going to be Pirates in the playoffs, Pirates in the postseason, which could happen. They have a really good roster. But again, super competitive in the division they're in. Would I buy into Esmerlyn Valdez's rookie card market right now? The answer is no. Personally, I would not. As I said, we are spoiled for choice when it comes to people's markets that we can buy into. Looking at the player market data, looking at the player narrative, looking at the team narrative, looking at the exit catalyst, looking at the sales tools, and my confidence levels, I am a no right now based on all of those. One of the things that I want to show you, because it makes this so much simpler and so much easier for me, is what I just walked you through. I do every single week, and I call it the rookie heat sheet, and I do it for a ton of players. This goes out to a little over 50 subscribers right now. This is an in-depth look that I use personally to analyze and understand the market dynamics for the NBA and the MLB rookie cards so that I can make better buying and selling decisions for myself. I use this information personally to run Rookie Heat AU. This is how I buy. This is how I sell. As I said, here you can see market temperature narrative and deep dive, breaking down what's happened in the last week in the MLB and the NBA, things that we need to watch, things that we need to think about, stories that are developing. We then have a watch list. So this is last week's. So this is before we had some of the run in Esmerlyn's market. We're looking at AJ Mitchell on the back of the Lou Dort trade and potential opening minutes in OKC opening up for him. We're looking at Chase Burns because he's in the National League Cy Young race. We're looking at Sal Stewart in that National League Rookie of the Year race, same with Bryce Eldridge. Okamoto just overtook Otani for the most home runs by a Japanese-born player, so that's in there with the Blue Jays. Murakami's back off the IL. White Sox are playing great. He hit 2 home runs today. He's in the AL Rookie of the Year race. Watching Bazana as well because of the Australian market. You know, watching Armen, Stefan, JJ Weatherholt. Also looking at the players that we're looking to sell because things happened and now is a good time to exit their market if we're in them and we can take a profit. Then what we do is we do player performances. Player profiles on all of these players. So we're breaking down what we're seeing in the actual market, what's coming up, and looking to justify what our steps are for that player this week and with what's happening right now. So we look at this in Cy Young races, in MVP races, and in Rookie of the Year races. We then also look at hot spotlight. So this is when Jordan Walker won the home run derby, looking at how's that impacted his market if we're in it. Can we enter? Do we look to exit? Is it just a watch? Other players as well. We look at postseason watch. So this is team narrative and player narrative around players going into the postseason. Then in the NBA, because we're in the off season, we're looking at the new rookie class whose official rookie cards are going to drop. How can we start to create positions in them? We're then also looking at breakout players, so the guys that are under 25. What are their markets? What are their narratives? These are the guys that are going to take all-star jumps, that are looking to have performance jumps, that are looking to have narrative jumps around them. We're looking at established profiles, so these are the elite guys. These are the superstars whose markets are established. There tends to be less risk, better liquidity, better velocity there. We then look at Hail Mary plays, so really high risk, exit candidates, what drops are happening, what catalyst events are coming up that we need to keep on our radar, and then a full player price table that we're looking at. So as I said, I send this out every single week because I do it for myself personally. It takes a few hours, but it just lets me look at it and go, okay, this week coming up, here's everything that's happened, here's everything that's happening. This is going to help inform my buying and my selling decisions. If you would like this, link is in the description. Okay, it's also in the first pinned comment. You can get the latest full version for free so that you can experience it for yourself. But then if you would like to keep receiving it every single week, have your finger on the pulse of the NBA and MLB rookie card markets, have the market research and intel piece done for you, it's just $20 a month. And you get access to the vendors table. It is a community of other sports card lovers, sports card business owners, where we all connect. They ask questions. I share even more market intel data. I share business growth systems. We have conversations around what we're seeing, what we're looking at buying into, what we're looking at exiting, some wins, some losses and lessons learned. That's included in the subscription as well, and it's all cancel any time. So the link is in the description if you want to check it out. As I said, first issue is free. So that's it for this video, guys. That is exactly how I make my buying decisions, analyzing player market data, player and team narrative, exit catalyst, what my sales systems are, and then my overall confidence and my operator decision-making framework on top. If you have questions about this, ask them in the comments below or reach out at rookieheat_AU on Instagram. I'm hyperactive there and I respond to all DMs, answer questions because I love supporting you guys. Thank you so much for supporting me by being here with us. Hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you on the next one.